a lot.
That's a lot.
This is like too many. Is it the most? Jones hasn't been sacked more than
Jones
that?
is 22.
With an 11 burger?
With 11, Sam Howell, the man we will soon be talking about for the Thursday night game, has been sacked 24 times on the season. That's bad.
With that note of knowledge, welcome back to another episode of Going For It. We are doing our Thursday Night Football breakdown. Chicago Brown Bears versus the Washington Commanders. Is it Brown Bear? I don't even know. It's the Bears, though.
It's just the Bears.
And yeah, but like, is it a brown bear? Is it a grizzly bear? Is it, what kind of bear is it? I need specifics.
Well, hold on. Google should be able to tell us that.
I mean, or is it just the Bears? And they're like, yeah, we're all bears. We are an equal bear-loving organization.
The current logo is of a grizzly bear's face, Staley the Bear.
Excellent. So the Chicago Grizzly Bears. I don't know, it doesn't sound as good. Versus the Washington Commanders, which never sounded good. But under new ownership, probably new name. That makes me excited. What do we think is like, do we think Justin Fields is going to be in Chicago? Like we talked about this in the Pick'em pod that Craig is a friend that's already moved on to the Caleb Williams, but like Fields has shown that he can be a game breaker with 2 first picks, first and second pick overall. You could change the trajectory of your organization conceivably, very easily. If you go quarterback, wide receiver with Marvin Harrison Jr., or, you know, take the best tackle on the board. I haven't done a lot of draft research yet, but like this could be very big on multiple fronts for this organization. Do we think Justin Fields is out? And I'm going to start with Craig because you talked to a Bears fan.
I mean, they want him out. They want him out. And in that case, you would want to trade for even more draft equity.
Yeah, get all of it.
If they're the worst team, they'd get the first. Who's first round do they also
Don't have? The Bears currently have the first 2 picks of the draft?
If
it were to end today?
They traded with Carolina. They traded with Carolina last year because Carolina got the first overall pick.
Right. So it would require both to stay right where they are. Then they would have 1-2. But either way,
they play each other, so that's going to be exciting.
They're probably going to have 2 picks in the top 5 or 6, no matter what. And I think they can add another first round pick, just not as high up. Fields has enough raw talent and has put enough tape out that he'd be worth shopping around. Plus, I don't think he's had a re-sign yet. So he doesn't have a hefty price tag either. It would, to me, makes no sense if they don't trade him. If
Fields
they're going to tank
Atlanta
and get
feels
Caleb.
feels like a guarantee in my mind.
That's a nice move.
Atlanta was interested in him in his draft year, and
Ritter's not the guy.
He's not the guy. He's terrible. He's terrible. I think that could definitely happen. I don't know if Atlanta gives them a first round pick, especially because they're on the cusp of either being that like playoff team that wins the division because it's a bad division, or like just missing out or wild card, whatever. So they're like, we need that pick, but also does Justin Fields put us over the top? We'll see. Personally, I as a Giants fan would very much like Caleb Williams, and we are very much in that sweepstakes. But I don't know that if I had Fields and I've seen the things from him that I have, especially the first 3 quarters of the Denver game, like he looked like a fucking dude. And like Denver is Patrick Surtain over on that defense, and he was throwing balls to DJ Moore. Like DJ Moore had over 100 yards receiving against that dude, and that dude is the best corner in football. So it's not like this guy doesn't have talent. It's
100% true. It's just that if the fans at the team and people are looking for a Caleb Williams, you got to move him. You can't roster both of them. But to your point, if they go all in on Fields, then you do get Marvin Harrison Jr., you do get the best offensive tackle, and you really start to shore up things.
Mike, do you have an opinion on this? What are your feelings on Justin Fields?
I think the Bears should do everything they can to lock in the top 2 picks of the draft. Go take the top 2 quarterback prospects with those 2 picks. Go to camp with those 2 guys and Justin Fields. Have a full-on quarterback battle, and then trade the 2 losers.
Can you imagine a preseason game where all 3 of them are in the backfield?
At the same time, just like they're
just
all
Wildcat.
Just the 3 of them all in the Wildcat formation, and everyone's like, what the fuck do we do here?
That strategy does not work in the NFL, but I've deployed it twice in fantasy and made the playoffs both times, but I did not win.
I love it. Washington sneaky good. I feel like they are arguably a quarterback away. Maybe Sam Howell could be that guy. I don't know that he is that guy yet. Buffalo tells me that he's still trying to force the ball, and that's probably because last year a lot of practice squad stuff. Did not get. He played I think one game, so he's not used to that NFL speed. And Buffalo put it on him, which we talked about also in the pick'em. So he might be a couple years away from figuring out if he's a guy or not, but he's looked decent for them at times. He's runs through the wall for them. He like that last drive in the Philly game was very impressive. Mm-hmm. So
all these guys have it in them. All the ones that are, even Aiden from Las Vegas, these guys that made it this far, they have it in them to do that. They can all have a Matt Flynn moment, any of them at any point, right? It's the consistency. It's the consistency that makes you a elite. Well, I won't even go elite. It's the consistency that keeps you as a starter consistently. And then it's consistency plus really working on your mentals and your body to go to that top probably 6 territory where it's the rarefied elite status.
So I wanted to look at, before we do our score predictions, and what Mike and I did last time was X Factor. We picked an X Factor in the game on both sides, or on both teams. So I want to implement that as well. The Bears have a couple games coming up that I think are winnable. And I don't know that they want to win these games, but I don't know that they can purposefully lose them. So I want to start. Vikings Bears is next week. Mm-hmm. That feels like if the Bears offense does what it did in Denver and the defense does what it did in Denver for the first 3 quarters, that could be a win.
Could be. I think Minnesota has more to play for there.
I agree
with the division game and how poorly they've been performing in the win-loss. So I would have a hard time picking Chicago there.
Yeah, I think Chicago has a better chance.
Also a divisional game. Division games get weird.
They do.
Yeah. I think Chicago has a better chance this week.
Yeah.
To get a W.
Yeah, I definitely think that. But like other games coming up, they play the Raiders as well at the end of October.
Winnable.
That feels like a super winnable game, especially if Devontae is going to start being like he even said after the Chargers game, is like, my shoulder is hurt. He's like, I am hurt, but also like, I knew that this wasn't going to get done without me. So
yeah,
whatever. But like, he's not going to keep putting his body on the line like that for a team that is going to quit on this head coach, because that's what's going to happen.
The key to beat the Raiders is to be up by 8 and let them kick a field goal as time expires to
let them kick a field goal with 3 minutes to go. And then let them get the ball back and let them be like, we'll get it back one more time, probably.
Yeah.
Fucking moron.
Still got to go down and score a touchdown, but I'm kicking a field goal.
Well, we would have needed the ball again anyway. Why? Why do you think that? That's not how math works, Josh. God. They play the Chargers, which feels like a loss. The Saints feels like a loss. Bears, Panthers. Toilet bowl game on November 9th.
Mm-hmm.
They can only hurt their draft stock in this game.
But if they're going to sit with Fields, it won't matter. They'll get 2 top 5 picks.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it feels to me like if you're Chicago, how can you want this ownership group to have another quarterback? Like this front office group, these guys picked Fields. And you're going to punt on him already? Like, guy's been through 2 head coach. I don't know. It feels like
the right time committed to now before you pay him. Before you pay him is the time.
Yeah, but you just said last year you gave up the first overall pick where you could have had any of these quarterbacks. CJ Stroud was right there. Anthony Richardson, if you believed he was your guy, was right there. Bryce Young, right there. And you were like, Justin Fields is better than all of them. I don't understand.
The NFL world, owners, scouts, coaches, GMs, analysts, none of them are any good whatsoever at evaluating quarterback talent at the NFL level. How many times have we seen this prodigy come out of college, and everyone's like, that's a dude. That guy's going to go out there and be one of the best that ever was. And then he turns out to be nothing. Just, calling games for CBS
the old man
Sports.
has come out. The old guy, get off my lawn. None of these
10:30
hit are any
and
good.
Here comes Sourpuss.
I remember Neil O'Donnell.
Neil O'Donnell haunts my dreams to this day.
I remember you forced to use him in either Quarterback Club or whatever iteration of our video gaming. I was always the
Quarterback
Cowboys.
Club 98. That's why I couldn't
Neil.
throw more than 20 yards downfield.
He would run consistently, just boom, 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 run. It would take him 7 minutes to do a drive, and then I would just hot route all the way to Michael Irvin on a deep game. That was it.
I got to double check. I think he was already off the team, so that was some other crappy quarterback that the Steelers had. 98 might have been Stewart. Might have been Cordell.
The only other games, they do play Minnesota again at the end of November. They play the Browns in December, the Cardinals, the Falcons, and the Packers all in there. And the Packers is their last game of the season. If the Packers are resting players for the playoffs or what have you, there's a couple winnable games in there for Chicago. My thing is there is talk of them firing Eberflus, I think is his name.
I think
don't know
that
if
is
I'm
his
saying
name.
it
That
correctly.
sounds right.
That sounds like a German beer.
Yeah, it does.
Also true.
It does sound like that. There is talk of them firing him if he doesn't win this game going into next week, because this is essentially a mini bye. So it would give them time to implement. Yeah, it would give them time to implement someone else to come in and kind of like work their magic. I don't know who the hell that would be, but
doesn't Frank Reich get fired this year too? Isn't he doing?
No, he just went on into Carolina.
I know, but it's not going good.
Yeah, that's probably because he's not a good coach, but that we also discussed, Carolina just doesn't have a lot going for it currently. And they traded their first round pick this year to go get Bryce Young, which kind of feels short-sighted now looking at like how much help they do need. And I don't know how many people are going to be jazzed to go play in Charlotte. Doesn't really feel like a destination as someone
not
who
a
lives
nice city.
3.5 hours out of Charlotte. It's fine. It's not.
Tell Mike more shitty things about that state.
It's not like New York or LA or like, and the appeal of Kansas City, fucking Missouri is a Super Bowl, not the city, but like people will go there to win. But like, it's not a great, like Charlotte's not the coolest place to be. So
how dare you? There's
fucking care.
Just single digit listeners that might live there that would be really upset with how you feel about where they're just home.
Pulling the Panther flag down and putting it away slowly, pulling out the sword, getting ready to attack.
I'm ready for it. Come for me. So score predictions. I am going to say Chicago wins this one 27-21. X factors for me. For the Bears, I'm going to take the easy one and say Justin Fields. The Jekyll and Hyde of him, if we get more good than bad, especially like sprinkled throughout the game and not just bad at the end of the game, I think that they'll definitely win. I think that there's just more talent over in Chicago. And on the Washington side, my X factor is going to be Emmanuel Forbes. He is a corner for Washington. They just drafted him this year, and he got abused by A.J. Brown a little bit last weekend. So
you just Googled name a defensive player.
I did not do that.
I
did not do that.
He binged it.
I don't know who that.
I did bing it. I didn't
Mike,
Google
he
it.
doesn't know who the fuck that guy is.
I absolutely know who he is. He's a corner, and he got worked by A.J. Brown last week.
A.J. Brown did have a great game.
He had a great game. He had a great game against that dude. Like that dude was talking shit at A.J. Brown, and then bad stuff happens.
Why do these young men do that?
I don't know. So yeah, I'm going to say Emmanuel Forbes, if he can get a little bit of confidence back, the young man could be very good in this league. Still very young. But yeah, he's my X factor. I'm going to kick it over to Craig Brooks. Score prediction, X factors.
Yeah, I
for
think
this game.
Washington's going to get right. They're going to get it together.
Get it right and get it tight.
They're going to win 31-21. Sam Howell's going to sling it around. He's going to spread it around, but Brian Robinson is going to punch 2 tutties in. X factor. Maybe 3. It could be 3.
Ooh, 3 tutties? You know the Christian McCaffrey?
That was 4.
I know. Well, that was the receiving.
Yeah, he received. One. Yeah, he's going to go for 3. It's going to be wild. The X factor for Chicago, I think, is going to be another touchdown from Cole Kmet.
Oh, I believe. He's caught the touchdown fire currently.
He's going to go for 100 yards and a tutty. It's happening. They will lose the game, though, to Sam Howell's
and probably
Commanders.
Fire their head coach.
That'll be fun.
Mike Thomas.
I think the X factor for this game is going to be how well the broadcast for Amazon can lifelessly promote the concert.
I knew he was. I was gonna cut you off and be like, he's gonna say something about Prime.
How Al Michaels can lifelessly read the name of a rapper off of a cue card to promote that concert that's going on after the show.
Have you watched any of them? I haven't stayed for any.
No.
Ed Sheeran, they got some big names, and I didn't do any. Ed Sheeran, he's somebody.
He's a dude, and they got other dudes, but I'm not watching any of them. I will. The other X factor in
not
this
watching any of them.
would be the
West
owners.
Coast only.
It is. It's 100% for the West Coast only. The X factor, the true X factor for this game are the owners in the press boxes and maybe one who's not there, because Washington shows you what happens when you cut the cancer out of a franchise with getting rid of Daniel Snyder. They start to win some games that they shouldn't. And Chicago's owners are doing the major league thing and hoping that they get some losses.
Yes, indeed.
Do you have a score prediction?
Well, no matter who wins, we all lose type of deal. I will say Washington 28, Chicago 27. And an exciting game.
See, that would be dope. I'm going to watch. I just don't intend to watch it all because I'm assuming it's going to get gnarly. But if it's like that and there's something worth watching, that's fun. That's fun. And I'll watch a little bit of the post game.
It is fun. Their post game's not bad. I do enjoy their post game.
Yeah. If I see the final score, I will be upset that I stayed up that late.
Even if it's a good game. So you're past that point in life where you won't even enjoy like a good game?
I will enjoy a good game, but usually the good games are the one that I do fall asleep to. Like the end of the Chiefs and Jets the other night. I was like, man, Zach Wilson's playing good.
Oh, see, I did have to get all the way to the end of that. I thought that was fun, and I actually thought the Jets were going to do the upset. And then I got shook, and like, why did I think that? That's not going to happen. Pat Mahomes, Andy Reid, they're not going to allow it. In the worst outing in terms of him throwing, he made some really bad throws. Some of the worst throws you'd see Pat Mahomes make. They still win the game.
Well, and that's one of the things, and we're going to deviate into the Chiefs, and anyone that's a fan of these teams listening, I'm so sorry. But I was listening to New Heights, or clips from New Heights, I should say. I don't listen to the full New Heights, but I do listen to their social media clips. And Travis Kelce referenced the holding call that like a lot of people were up in arms about. First of all, I would like to take my stance on this. That was fucking holding. Like he had arms on the opposite ends of the shoulders and turned his body. That's fucking holding. Like whether or not it was aggressive enough to be holding, whatever.
That's like just your opinion,
he knew he
man.
did it. He knew he did it.
Yeah, absolutely. Sauce, and like it was even a thing last year, and this is not to degrade Sauce at all. He's excellent. He is phenomenal, especially for a year 2 player. He is amazing. But like last year, everyone even said that he was very, very handsy, and like it was going to take him a little bit of time to adjust.
Young man, you're getting very handsy out there.
He's kind of handsy. He's kind of
more or less handsy than Mac Jones.
More, but in a different way.
Okay.
He's not going to the no-no zone where Mac Jones likes to live.
He likes to just live there. Anyway, Jason Kelce spoke on it, and he was like, first of all, he's like, don't give the ref the opportunity to make that call. He's like, that's number one. And he was like, and number two, people are saying that, oh, the Chiefs get all these calls, Chiefs do all this, and then they end up winning the game. And he said, that's what good teams do. Good teams get these calls because they scheme things the right way, they call things the right way, and it causes these penalties, which allows them to win games. And I was like, as someone who lost a Super Bowl to a holding call that I also believe was a holding, but it was very, very astute and profound.
I don't remember that.
The last one, Bradbury held Juju on the last play for the Chiefs. And they threw the flag for holding, and everyone was like, that wasn't holding. And they interviewed Bradbury after the Super Bowl, and he was like, yeah, I definitely held him. I totally held him. He's like, that was a holding.
Yeah. That just last year, right?
Yeah, just last year. So, but yeah, that's my anecdote. Jason Kelce knows his shit. And Travis even said it too. He was like, yeah, he's like, you just don't want to be put in the position to make that mistake. You don't want to be put in the position for the ref to have to make that call. And good teams close out games like that. And that's true.
And they are at
that's
that
why they're top
level. They've got another, 2 more years, even if they don't make it this year, to still maintain that dynasty. They don't have to win this one to guarantee dynasty. They can still gap another year or two and be like this decade's dynasty.
Especially if they go deep in the playoffs. If they go to the AFC Championship game, who cares? It's still a dynasty.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're gross. I think they need to start investing in better weapons. I don't think they can live in that bargain bin. Yeah, I think
they're starting to see
Travis is getting older, and I don't know how we got on the Chiefs from this, but they need to invest in better weapons.
They need a stud wide receiver. Then they need probably additional overtime, adding in pieces of the line as well.
Yeah, I would bring in a young tight end. I would bring in a young tight end this year just to watch Travis Kelce. He's fine, but I would bring in one of these guys, the Dalton Kincaid, like in Buffalo. Like I would get someone in that vein because they pick late enough that they can get a top flight tight end, get him and let him watch Travis Kelce work for 4 more years, and then be like, all right, now it's your show. And then that's what I think Miami is doing with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. They're like, all right, Jalen, watch everything this fucking guy does, because in 3 years you're gonna fucking do that.
Right.
Yeah, but for Kelce, it's
you stay,
run 7 yards, and then you're open, and we're gonna get you the ball because defenses just aren't gonna cover you.
I mean, he's always open though. It doesn't make any sense.
He is always open because him and Pat have that thing where the trust is at such a high level that he can deviate from all the route stuff to just get in space. And Pat Mahomes has the highest end. A few other guys probably have this, but his vision. Nasty. But I mean, yes, his football IQ is nasty, but he can see peripherally so much more than some of the guys that get locked into a read. That doesn't happen to him regularly. And that allows Kelce to do routes that would normally be covered, and then he just ekes out. It's very sneaky looking because he's not fast. He's not the fastest guy. He sneaks out because the coverages are usually already thinking, got it, it ain't going to him, which seems ludicrous because if you look at the statistics, it would make sense.
To him a lot.
But they're so fearful. I think they're so fearful of the other big plays that you see them give too much space. He also happens to be huge. I think he's 6'5" with a pretty good wingspan. Sorry, I didn't mean to get on a Kelce rant, but we are watching what will probably go down as the best tight end ever.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to knock him off that perch. But with that all being said, this was your Thursday night football prediction between two teams that aren't the Chiefs.
We went to a more interesting topic.
Yes, we did. We also went and talked about the Chiefs because that's better than both of these teams. Half of the Chiefs team is better than both of these teams.
Thursday night preview, but really, we get through that quickly to talk about the Chiefs and Travis Kelce, but also hashtag Taylor Swift.
Guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Do us a favor and like, comment, and subscribe on this video. We greatly appreciate it. We're at 22 subscribers. This is a very exciting, momentous occasion for all of us. And we didn't buy any of them. So, that's pretty neat.
I did.
Oh, shit. Your dad wouldn't even be friends with me on Facebook. I don't believe you. So
I love that moment.
Guys, thank you so much for hanging out. We appreciate it. We will see you all back here next time.